Hello, hello, beautiful divine godlings. How are you all? Hope you've had an amazing week. Welcome to video 2. I hope you've had a chance to watch video 1 by now, which is basically an introduction to everything we'll be covering in the following weeks. So it'll give you kind of the basics of what you need to know for everything else to come. So if you haven't had a chance to watch that one, it'd be great to just jump on and have a quick look at that. This week we're moving into the root cause of disease. So I'll just quickly introduce myself in case there's somebody watching that wasn't here last week. My name's Lynnie Nichols, and for the past 10 years I've been running holistic healing retreats. And in that time I've been witnessing incredible healings, which at first I thought were miracles, but then over time I realized that they're not miracles at all. This is actually the power of our body to heal when we take a holistic approach. So we've established last week that the core of everything is energy. Quantum science has proven this, and our ancestors understood that everything in the cosmos was energy vibrating at different resonances. The higher the vibration, the less visible, and the lower the vibration, the more solid and more visible the object. So we come into this physical reality as a godling with a vibration that's of a resonance that allows us to take physical form. And we have energy centers, so we pick up and we emanate our energy, and it's through blocked energy caused by emotional and physical toxicity and deficiency that physical dis-ease manifests. So today it's about getting back to the root cause of what actually causes disease. So I know for a lot of people what I'm about to say is going to be very challenging, and probably in fact the most challenging thing that you're going to hear throughout the whole 6 weeks. And that is that we are the creators of our reality, and therefore we're the creators also of disease. Disease doesn't just happen. We create that via our emotions, our beliefs, and our thoughts, and which manifest into blocked energy and then become symptoms in the body, which means signs of something deeper. Our ancestors understood this. They knew that there was just one root cause, and that was chaos at the atomic level caused by deficiency and toxicity. So if with that understanding, if we go back to basics and we start today with how disease actually comes about in the emotional body. So imagine that you're this pure godling, absolutely perfect. You come into this physical reality at the moment of conception as Anita, which is the indivisible cell, that very first cell, and then you grow into this little baby, and then you're born, and then you start to experience, well, in actual fact, neuroscience says that from the moment of conception we actually start to feel and take in the vibrational energy around us. So if we're born into a womb that maybe the mother didn't necessarily want a baby and she's feeling traumatic emotions, then the baby automatically just begins to pick that up. Of course, the baby can't understand language by hearing what the mother's saying or what's being said around, but the baby can definitely pick up energy. And so what happens then, the baby's born, still picking up energy, and then we start to understand language, and if we're being told certain things over and over, or just vibrationally we're getting a sense of something, we begin to make beliefs around that via our perception. So, if the baby has come into an experience where possibly the mother wasn't ready to have a baby or didn't want the baby, and she was feeling very depressed or sad, angry even, then the baby's born and she's not showing that baby any love, then via the perception, the baby could make a belief about itself that it's unwanted, it's not worthy of being here, better off being dead, nobody wants me, nobody loves me, nobody cares, yeah, I'm not good enough. And what happens is that belief gets embedded in the psyche and becomes part of the programming then that gets played out over that child's lifetime and then adult's lifetime, unless we become aware of this belief system and do the work to change it. So, you know, supposedly, according to neuroscience, from the moment of conception until 7 years old, we're perceiving experiences and then creating beliefs about that, which then becomes, as I said, our programming. So that's pretty freaky when you think about that. Like a child basically has created our programming, that now we're moving through life as an adult with the child's perception as our guidance, basically. And if you remember that everything is energy, as I explained last week, and so that energy attracts to us things of a certain resonance, a similar resonance. So as we said last week, you know, a chakra may have the resonance of a particular color, particular musical note, whatever it may be. And so, and then correlating with a certain organ. Well, in the same way, we attract people and experiences to us that have a similar vibration. And so if your belief system is one that you're not worthy, you're unwanted, you're not good enough, what's going to happen is you're going to attract people and circumstances into your life that actually affirm that belief. And, you know, you may have heard, as I have, several times through the emotional healing work that I do, women that seem to attract the same, well, not necessarily even women, but in my case, it is women I'm talking about, but they seem to attract time after time a similar type of person, and that person could be very abusive, or, you know, just treat them like a doormat, or whatever it may be. So they could have time and time again unhealthy relationships. Or you may have thought to yourself, gosh, how could one person be so incredibly unlucky? And that would be because their belief system is one that maybe I'm a failure, or I'm useless, or I'm stupid, or I'm not worthy. And so what happens is they start attracting these people and circumstances that actually affirm that belief system, affirm that programming. So the mind is like a computer. The mind is our computer as this body temple, this energy being, and just like a computer, it can only play out the programming that's embedded in there. So when you put in a computer disk, it doesn't play something different, it only plays what's on that disk. And your mind is exactly the same. So whatever your programming is, that's running 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, and you're attracting to you people and circumstances that actually affirm that belief. So it's very, very powerful to get in touch with the belief system, work out what that is, and then we can actually do the work to change that, and we can start attracting differently. So through this belief system then, we start attracting these people and experiences into our life, and so we start having experiences. And some of those experiences could be very traumatic. Regardless of the belief system anyway, we're having experiences in our life also. And so what's been proven is that at the height of an emotion, if we don't allow ourselves to express that emotion, we actually suppress it, and it gets held in the cells of the body. And then it can become a degenerative cellular memory. And then over time, because this is a blocked energy then, moving into the energy body and then eventually manifesting into physical form as physical dis-ease, a symptom of something deeper, which is the blocked cellular memory. So I'm just thinking of an example. So say if you're just driving along and you're about to be in an accident and you're feeling so much fear At that moment, of course, we don't allow ourselves to feel the fear. We do what we have to do to try and avoid what's going to happen. And so that emotion gets blocked in the cells then and becomes, as I said, can be a degenerative cellular memory. What it also does is makes our reactions to things, they can be very extreme. So you might then be driving down the road sometime later, even 2 years later, and someone swerves a little bit, and you might just go into the biggest panic and fear and, you know, think that you're going to have an accident. But in actual case, it was just someone swerving a little bit. It wasn't any big deal. But for you, because this degenerative cellular memory is still there, it's become a huge thing. And so we become overreactive to very many things. And this is including other people. If we ever react in a way that's extreme, you can pretty well bet it will be because there's something on a deeper level that needs to be healed. It's not actually about what's happening today. So yes, so these negative core beliefs draw in experiences into our life and people that then create, you know, emotions within us. And then if we don't deal with those emotions, we block them, they turn into degenerative cellular memories and manifest over time into dis-ease. So that's actually how dis-ease is formed in the body. We're never taught to express our emotions. And, you know, if we go right back to primary school, if we try to express ourselves, most often you're chucked in the naughty corner, or, you know, labeled as a naughty kid, or something worse, like you're an ADD kid or whatever it may be. We're never encouraged to feel and to express our emotions. And this is just so, this is devastating, because it's these blocked emotions that over time manifest into dis-ease, and it's no fault of our own. It's the system, because the system wants us to just look at the symptoms and not worry about the cause, because if we're just dealing with the symptoms, then we're maintaining disease. We're just suppressing the symptoms and maintaining our disease, just keeping it under control, but we're never actually healing it. Whereas if we could allow ourselves to express our emotions and tap into those degenerative cellular memories and heal them through forgiveness and really finding a closure with that, then disease goes away. The cause is healed and it goes away, and then over time those physical symptoms go away. And Dr. Deepak Chopra and Dr. Candace Pert have done a lot of work around that, and they've proven that what happens is when we block these cellular memories and they become degenerative memories in the body, in the cells, what happens is the new cell will come along, because the cells are always replacing each other. A new cell will come along, and the old cell passes on that degenerative memory to the new cell. That's why disease continues in the body. Otherwise you would think, well, if we're getting new cells, the disease should be gone. But those degenerative memories actually get passed on. I mean, our bodies are so incredible when you really look at the communication system that goes on within the cells, and it's actually really amazing. But so this is what happens. They pass on that degenerative memory to the new cell, so the dis-ease continues. But when you get to the core of these degenerative cellular memories and you do the work to actually heal that memory through forgiveness, and you find a sense of absolute closure and letting go of that, what happens is the new cell comes along, but there's no degenerative memory to pass on to it. So then in the time that it takes for that organ or body part that's showing the symptom to all of those cells to replenish themselves without the degenerative memory, then that's how long it takes for certain organs to heal from dis-ease. I've definitely seen moments where it's healed in an instant, and I've spoken about some of them, and I'll tell you a couple more today. But generally, this is the way that it works. Once we get rid of that blocked degenerative memory, which is manifested into blocked energy, everything starts flowing, and then everything starts working, you know, optimally the way that it should be working. So So yeah, so then we've got this disease in the physical body, which, as I said, is in fact just a symptom of something deeper. What I've also seen is that through the emotional healing processes is that it's exhausting holding on to this emotion in the body. That if you can imagine having a beach ball and holding that underwater with your hand, at first it's very easy, but then over time your arm gets exhausted. And this is exactly what it's like in the body. And when people are going through their emotional healing processes, often they drop into a place that they just go, I'm exhausted. I'm absolutely exhausted. And I think that's what's going on for so many of us on a cellular level, where we are truly exhausted because we're carrying around all of this emotional baggage. So it's really imperative that we begin to embrace our emotions and understand that it's not healthy to suppress the emotion. And in fact, what's very healthy is to express that, the emotion that's been stored. So, you know, I'm just such a big advocate for chucking a tantrum if you feel angry and frustrated. Just make sure no one's looking, of course, but you know, I'll often chuck myself on my bed and have a little tanty, but get all that emotion out of your body, and then you're right. 5 minutes later, you're up and you're off. Whereas most people do the opposite and they suppress that. And then for the rest of their life, little bits are just coming out, and we're projecting that out at other people. So if we allow ourselves to express it, it gets rid of that out of the cellular memory, and we don't feel the need to project that out to other people. There's another study, I think this could be Dr. Deepak Chopra also, where he looked into the cells holding on to memories, and this was through people having organ transplants. And what many people over time have seen is that they start to have memories that are not theirs. And when they've looked at it deeper, they were realizing that it was actually people in the lives of the donor. So yeah, I just thought that is just frigging fascinating, but amazing as well. And that's how intelligent our body is. So yeah, so our cells hold these memories, and it's very, very powerful. And if we want to actually heal dis-ease once and for all, we need to find out what those degenerative memories are that have manifested into the physical symptom of dis-ease, and then do the work to heal that. I had a girl come to my retreat, and she had been bitten by a dog when she was just 5 years old. And she'd had no feeling in her one side of her face for 17 years. She was 22. And so we did the emotional healing process, and her body brought her to this memory of when she was 5. And she said, it's really weird. She said, I'm seeing myself as 5 and I'm really angry with my dad. But she said, I'm not angry with my dad. And then she explained that she'd been playing with this dog all day and very happily playing with the dog. And then her dad walked inside for a moment. And in that moment, the dog actually bit her. And so in her 5-year-old mind, in this healing process, she could see that she was really angry with her dad, and she blamed him. Her perception was that it was his fault that she got bitten by the dog, because it was fine all day, and then he walked away and the dog bit her. So this is why, I think I said that before, that it's, not necessarily the truth that we make our beliefs around, it's our perception. And you can see in this case, it was her perception that it was Dad's fault that she got bitten by the dog, when in actual fact, as an adult, she knew that that was just, so unrealistic. That was so far from the truth. Anyway, so easily she found forgiveness and closure. And it was only 4 hours later, and she was walking around with this funny look on her face and feeling her face. And I said, are you okay? And she said, yeah, it's really weird. She said, I've got all this tingling in my face. I haven't been able to feel anything for 17 years. And she wanted to go home that night because she lived nearby. And so she went home and she came back the next day and she said, I had to ask my partner to have a shave because I've got so much feeling in my cheek and it was really sensitive. And so she regained all of that feeling after 17 years just from one emotional healing process, you know, without even doing the whole holistic approach of looking at the energy body and doing the work on the chakras, looking at the physical symptoms and doing what we could to support the physical body. In one healing session, she had healed that memory and the physical symptom that blocked energy had caused. So, yeah, I hope you can see how it's all coming together now, how we must take a holistic approach. Otherwise, we are just dealing with the symptoms. And this is why we hear over and over again that, you know, people are doing everything they possibly can. I'm doing the physical, I'm detoxing the body, doing meditation, but the disease is continuing. And this is because they haven't actually got to that root cause. So I say it's like I visualize it like a big tree with one big tree trunk and then all the little roots going out. And if when we're tapping into that, the subconscious to find the deep degenerative cellular memories, if we're just pulling a little tree root and another little tree root and we're never actually pulling that main tree root, then the dis-ease is going to stay. Whereas if we, in these cases, obviously these people have tapped in and just pulled that main root, and that's why in an instant, basically, they've experienced what we think is miraculous healing. But it can be a process, and especially if you're someone that's had a lot of trauma, or maybe you're not able to be completely open in your emotional healing processes because you've learnt and for so many years practice pushing things down that it's not easy to be open. You know, I've had a lot of men especially that just like, you know, it's not going to work. I know it's not going to work because they've just learnt to be a man and not show emotions and instead push it down. But when they tap into that, when they get out of the mind and actually just allow themselves to surrender into this process, you know, many of them are just like blown away with the amount of emotion that comes pouring out. And, you know, what that takes them back to, often a memory when they're young, a child, and then through doing the healing work, they're able to let go of what they're holding on to around that, and then feel the effects of that by healing from disease. Whether that may just be a pain that they've been feeling over and over, or if it's gone into something more serious. Just a man just popped into my mind and he was having heart pains, and during that process he was able to release, say, 3/4 of that pain. Then we did another process. By the time we'd finished that, all of the heart pain are gone. Whereas we've been taught, when we feel that, to run out and get something. You have to go to the doctor and get medication for that. Obviously there's a, you know, serious problem with your heart. But no, in fact, the serious problem is with a blocked emotion. You need to do some healing work and find some forgiveness, and often that forgiveness is actually with ourselves more than anybody else. So this is the importance and the power of emotional healing, and again, why we must take a holistic approach if we want to heal from dis-ease and not just maintain it. I had a girl that came to see me, and in her life it was the same 22-year-old girl. In her life she had something like 52 or 56 broken bones. I mean, who does that even happen to? And I said to her, because I was like, whoa, that's just unbelievable. And then I thought to myself, I know what the subconscious mind is like and our belief system. And I said to her, what are you gaining from that? What's the secondary gains from that? Because this is what happens often. We don't know it in our conscious mind, but we actually are creating, because we're the creators, we're creating a situation because we're actually getting something from that. And at first she couldn't think about it, and then as we went more into her healing, it came up that in her life as a young girl, the only time she got attention, loving attention from her mum, was when she was sick. And so on a subconscious level, remembering what the negative core belief system does, so she's created a belief about that. I only feel love when I'm sick. I only feel love when I'm sick, or something similar to that. I know that you'll get the picture. And so she drew, through the law of attraction, broken bones into her body so that she could get the love that she was craving for and she didn't get any other time. So again, it's imperative, if we want to change our life, to discover what that negative core belief system is and do the work to change that, so we start to attract, we can empower ourselves and start to attract more positive experiences and beautiful people into our life, loving people, respectful people, and not allow this belief system, this program that we're playing, that's determined by the perception of a young child, to basically run our life. So yeah, that's how it all kind of comes together. I hope that that's understandable and you're getting the picture. And so what's really imperative for us to heal completely is to discover what these degenerative cellular memories are, and to discover what our negative core belief system is, and then do the work to either forgive and find closure with the memories, or reprogram the mind by creating a new belief system and getting that embedded into the psyche. And there's definitely ways that you can do that. And if you would like to know how to do that, join me next week and we will go through the recipe to heal the emotional body and to discover your core belief system, and then do the work to change that programming so that your central computer can start playing a different tune, basically, and start attracting differently. So just before I do go, just remembering that every dis-ease comes back to that chaos at the atomic level, which will be thoughts or beliefs. And many people have done work around the psychosomatic, the probable emotional causes for each particular dis-ease. So for instance, just to show you how it works, if you are looking at the thyroid and you've got dis-ease in the thyroid, on some level there'll be a degenerative cellular memory, or a thought or a belief that life's not fair, what about me, when's it going to be my turn? It'll be something around that kind of theme, is what proven time and time again to be at the core of some thyroid, overactive thyroid or underactive thyroid. So, but there's a psychosomatic like that for every single dis-ease in an organ. Every organ has a probable cause. The heart is often about putting money before love, so making money more important, and possibly just working instead of taking that time and being with the people that you love and loving yourself. Like I said, every organ has a psychosomatic. Yeah, so join me next week and we'll go through a couple of little ways, processes to heal the emotional body and look at the negative core belief system. And then also we'll look into how dis-ease or energy blockage comes about in the energy centers. So yeah, I look forward to having you with me next week. I hope that this has been helpful and you're starting to see how it all comes together holistically, and that of course we're not going to be able to experience absolute healing if we're just dealing with the symptoms, when the cause is energetic and emotional. So yeah, thank you everyone for being with me, and please send through any questions or comments again. Supposedly, I don't know anything about YouTube and me and technology, but supposedly people say that the comments help the algorithm and help the video to be seen. So if you do, would like to leave a comment, that would be amazing. But if not, that's all good too. And I just hope that you're able to embrace this information and let go of the indoctrination and really just allow yourself to start to just open your mind to all possibilities, because you truly are a super, super, super powerful healing machine and powerful, powerful creator. So just as your mind can create dis-ease, it can also create the best possible outcome and the best life ever. So I want that for you. In fact, I love nothing more than saying to my clients, I hope I never see you again. I really do, in the best possible way, because if I don't have to see you again, that means you've got to that root cause and you're off, you're away, you're about to live the most beautiful, vibrant life. So I wish that for all of you. Thank you, everyone. Chat to you in a week.